Hey there, welcome back to Oki Outdoor Adventures. Today we're going to do the full walkthrough of the 2020 Tracker Pro Team 175 TF. I've owned the boat for about a month now. I've been out on the water several times, so I wanted to provide you some honest feedback, tell you what I love about the boat, tell you what I may not love about the boat, and just give you a general view of what you're looking at. If you're in the market for something, this may be the boat for you. Let's jump right into it. We're going to start with the trailer, work our way forward, then we'll come back to the back of the boat and work our way to the front. Stay with me, we'll be right back. We are back. We're taking a look at the rear of the trailer right now. I've got two cameras going, so hopefully the lighting will adjust accordingly. But I did want to show you off the jump one of the things that I absolutely don't like. The standard straps that come with the boats from Bass Pro Shop, these tie downs or these ratchet straps are absolutely garbage. I would suggest that you upgrade to the buckles as quickly as possible. I haven't done that yet, but we're working that direction. You've also got the Transom Saver, which seems to be holding up fairly well. It's a little bit difficult to get on and off at times, but only because I'm a gargantuan. So you have your live well drains, you have your center for your plug. Make sure that you're always putting that in, obviously. And then, I don't know if you can see on the far side, but you've got the transducer for the hook. So moving forward, I do like the diamond plate on the trailer. The fender wells seem to hold up very well. The 13-inch tires have done nice so far. Haven't really put a whole lot of miles on them, a couple of hundred, but they seem to be holding up. I don't see any wear or tear already. Trailer is sprayed, I think with, I can't remember the spray, I'll look it up. But this particular trailer, and I think most of the Tracker trailers now, come with the fold-away tongue, which is very nice. Make sure and encourage you to check the torque on your bolts and occasionally grease that main pin so it slides in and out a little more easily. The trailer jack is very nice. It lifts up high enough. My driveway, unfortunately, is on a slant, so I have to raise the boat up pretty high to get the truck under it and still keep a level ride versus getting a dropped ball. Now, one thing that I do hate, the roller that comes on the trailer is very, very fragile. And I'm going to pop this off because I want to show you the clips for these are extremely delicate. I haven't done anything out of the ordinary with this, just normal driving, normal clipping and winching the boat up. This one actually only sits on the safety latch, so no idea why it's so bent up, but it's bent up. So you may look at getting additional winch straps, winch guides, whatever they're called. Okay, so now we're going to walk to the back of the boat and actually talk about the motor, and then we'll work our way forward. And I'll try and give you as much information as possible, as concisely as possible, so please bear with me. The 2020, this particular model, the 175 TF, came with the 4-stroke Mercury 75. Now, a couple of notes about this motor. It is extremely quiet. So that's, in my opinion, a good thing. It's not like the days of old when you could hear, your boat coming from 100 miles away, right? It's got the gas cap on this side, or the fuel fill on this side, so it's on the opposite side of my truck, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. You've got an access hatch there, and we'll open the battery hatch, but there's not a whole lot to show you, but I wanted to talk about it. So it is a 21.5 gallon fuel tank from the factory or directly from Bass Pro. I'm set up with a 12-volt battery system, running dual batteries, one cranking, one trolling. It does have 3 battery trays, so I intend to add a third battery and move to a 24-volt system soon. You got the rear live well, which somehow I've accumulated a little bit of water. It must have rained overnight, but no big deal. You got 2 side storage compartments. I don't know, these are advertised as dry, but at any rate, they will hold the 3700 series tackle boxes with no issue. Now, just to make sure, I use lure lock, and I wasn't sure that they were going to fit, but as you can see, they fit nicely. You can get 3 per side. Now, I don't typically use those for my tackle storage. I keep my tools in there and kind of miscellaneous items like line or rope or whatever the case may be. Both of the seats flip forward and you have storage under the seats. My fire extinguisher's under the seat over there. Seats aren't very comfortable. The backing is nice. If there's any one complaint, it's that they get blistering hot. I don't intend to run a Bimini top, but if you so choose, then I strongly encourage you to do so. Here at the cockpit, you've got your gauge cluster, which I've got my fair share of complaints there as well. You've got your tachometer, you've got your water pressure, you've got your voltometer, you've got your speedometer, your fuel gauge. Your bilge switch is over there on the left, your nav lights also on the left-hand side. You got your accessory switch here, a 12-volt accessory plug-in, the forward live well, the rear live well, both run timer continuous with aeration on the rear, or front, I'm sorry, both you can run with a timed aeration, or you can run them on continuous. The horn, cute little guy. But before we move on, a couple of complaints that I might have. The ignition switch there, the ignition switch spins freely at times. It's loose. I could probably tighten it up, but wish I would have known that before. The water pressure gauge seems to operate just fine. The voltometer seems to operate just fine. The tachometer seems to operate just fine. No issues really necessarily with the speedometer, but 2 minor complaints: the trim gauge and the fuel gauge both concern me. If you trim the motor all the way down, it reflexes down. If you make minor adjustments to come up, it only comes up to about a quarter of the trim gauge, and then you look back and your prop's basically out of water. So I'm not sure, and perhaps it's just me and my inability to properly read the gauge. Cool feature I do like, the elastic strap. I throw my phone up there sometimes while I'm moving. It's not too bad. But the cockpit area is very nice. You've got a trim switch on the throttle, forward, neutral, reverse. No big deal there. Your kill switch, which always is connected. It fits nicely in the hand. I did forget to mention the motor. This particular motor does have trim guard, so you can't go up and crimp your cables or snap your cables at the top, which is really nice. This particular boat came with the Lowrance Hook 5 HDI downscan. It's pretty nice. I mean, as far as entry-level, kind of run-of-the-mill finders or nav equipment are concerned, it seems to do the job pretty well. You can map out individual lakes. You can utilize your downscan or the sonar, both of which pick up fish very well. No issues there. Both sides do have rod lockers. They say that they hold up to 7-foot rods. One observation that I'd like to make about the rod lockers is that they can hold rods over 7 foot long, but I probably wouldn't put more than 1 or 2 in there at a time. It gets really tight, and personally I won't be using them very much for that, simply because I don't want to bend my eyes up, and you have to get creative to get those to fit. I don't really have any equipment under 7 foot, but that's no fault of the boat. That's more deficiency on my part, I guess. You have your forward live well here. You have an additional storage container here. I don't know how far we can get in there with the camera because the lighting will get screwed up, but I keep my tackle in there. I keep my dry bag and or my soft plastics in my dry bag in that compartment rather, and it does have the hydraulics, which are nice. I will say this is the first time that I've noticed condensation on that, but again, my fault, not the fault of the boat. You can open these hatches if you don't have your stuff in there, let them dry out. Here in Oklahoma, it's always humid, so you're going to have to deal with the moisture. You got 4 different cleats, 2 on the front, 2 on the rear. Moving forward, got the Minn Kota foot control trolling motor pedal. It is the 5-speed, which, if I'm being perfectly honest, I hate this. I really do. I wish it was the 0 to 100, but I digress. There is a slug or a minnow. I don't actually know what that is. That's a snail. Gross. There is there's a front trim switch. Comes in very handy. You got your trolling motor power. You have your forward light receptacle. Not too bad there. And then we move on to really probably the most hated item on my boat. The Minn Kota Edge, the 45-pound thrust with a 45-inch shaft trolling motor that comes standard on the 2020 175 Protein TF. I hate this trolling motor. I absolutely hate it. I'm going to turn the camera around really quick. So, like I was saying, I absolutely hate this trolling motor. The front of my boat sits out of the water even with me standing on the front deck. It sets fairly high, and in big water, or not big water, I don't know how you would define that. I'd be afraid to take it out on some of the like the Great Lakes or something, but the blades are coming out of the water, right? The boat rocks enough that because of that short shaft, it comes out of the water, and I couldn't make up some ground. So video that's up on the channel now, you'll see did not go well for me. A couple of items on this side that I want you to see. You've got the light on the cockpit panel. Be careful, you'll turn it on. If you're getting into this compartment, my legs bumped that light several times and turned it on. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You've got the rod locker on this side, and then you got 4 seating positions in the cockpit area. I use the 2 seats. We primarily use the boat for bass fishing, so it's not a big deal for me. You do have your rear deck seat. Again, that stays off for the most part because we're doing some bass fishing. I don't know why it was something stuck over in that. We primarily use the boat for bass fishing. It does pick up quite a bit of dust, so I'm going to have to find a way to be more conscientious about what I'm doing and cleaning the boat off more regularly. Probably get it waxed down and cleaned up. I did forget to mention you have the 2 front cup holders and the recessed casting deck. So this is where it is different from maybe a bass specific rig, is it doesn't have the elevated deck, so this is recessed. But I actually prefer that a little bit because I can throw my rods on without fear of kicking them off. It's not a perfect system, but it works. The carpet is nice. It's virtually hook-free, hookless, whatever you want to call it. I haven't had any bad issues with it, but I'm sure we can put that to the test. So it does have the vinyl flooring rather than the carpeted flooring. And I will tell you, after this weekend, I discovered that the vinyl gets hot. It was 85, maybe 86-ish degrees this weekend. And I typically go barefoot in the boat, and by midday I had to find some shoes. My feet were on fire. So give me 2 seconds, let me regroup, and I will close this out. Okay guys, so my final thoughts on the boat. At the price point where I got it, I think that it was extremely affordable, and I'm more than pleased with what I got. The motor performs very well. I'm still in that break-in phase, so I haven't really got to open it up as much as maybe I will once I'm comfortable with the hours on the motor, but it's quick, right? At 4,500 RPM, I'm still getting between 32 and 35 on the speedometer and the graph, so no complaints about that. It sure beats the kayak as far as getting around. I've also been able to get this in some extremely shallow situations. It's not perfect by any means, but I mean, I absolutely love it. Again, for what I spent and what I got, I couldn't be more happy with it, guys. You know, a few minor complaints, a few things that I would like to upgrade. Obviously, first and foremost, I want to upgrade my batteries, my on-bank charger, which I forgot to mention. It's a 2-bank 4-amp, I believe, 2-bank 4-amp charger. So I'll be upgrading to the 3-bank, probably jump that up to a 10-amp, and then go to a 24-volt system, upgrade the trolling motor. I'd like to get an Ultrix or something with spot lock, and I would like to eventually throw some Panoptics on here. So we're just now really getting into the heart of summer. I have a lot more content coming on the boat and in the kayaks, so if you've made it to this point in the video, I appreciate all of the support that you guys are showing the channel. You're all fantastic. Feel free to let me know what you think of the boat and of the way that I've presented this material. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we can connect, and I'll do my best to get them answered for you. I'll leave some specs of the boats in the description of this video. Check it out. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time on the water.